Hey, welcome back to the channel. I'm going to call this video, what would you do with $10 million? And I'm going to answer that question, what I would do with $10 million here in a moment. But I'm going to recap my weekend I had at the Texas Beef Initiative Conference, first inaugural in Kerrville, Texas. Just got back, it was last weekend. And it was a pretty cool deal. That the man, Texas Slim, that started the Texas Beef Initiative is someone you should definitely follow on Instagram and Twitter. I believe he's at Modern T Man on Twitter. But he's basically getting together a bunch of ranchers and consumers, and they're working on building a network, or building a bunch of small to medium-sized slaughter plants in the state of Texas in order to ensure a resilient, healthy food supply in the times coming. As you can see, there's a lot of shenanigans going on around people pushing fake meat, and a lot of globalist funded vegan propaganda, and so it's never been more important to, I believe, to raise awareness and promote the idea of reclaiming our patrimony as Americans, basically, and eating beef and being healthy. You only have to look at a picture of a beach from 1965 or 70 and then compare it to today, and you realize something has changed. And I will give you a hint: it did not change because people started eating more beef. They started eating less, and they started eating more sugar and seed oils. Anyway, I'm getting off on a tangent. Anyway, check out the Texas Beef Initiative, and you can find some really cool ranchers that are selling beef through there. But also, they're really promoting the idea of finding your local guy and shaking his hand. Know where your local supply chain is, because as you can see, there's a lot of stuff going on with food processing plants mysteriously burning down, and you know, the big four packers will say that they have a case of COVID in their, or the virus in their plant, and so they have to slow the chain speed. And there's basically, we have way too much centralization in our food system, and we're about to pay the piper. And you can see where the president himself is calling for food shortages. And I don't know if he's got that, if he has the memo where they're planning that, or he just knows what we can all see, that when you shut down the economy for 2 years in order to stop a cold, then you create some unintended consequences. Anyway, we got a lot of big money pushing the vegan agenda. It's time to get some competing forces in there. So check out the Texas Beef Initiative, and you'll be able to follow along there on Twitter, and he'll be posting a bunch of videos from the event. I believe it's worth your time and effort to support them, and as their call to action is to go shake your rancher's hand and start learning about how beef makes us metabolically healthy, and learn how to basically spread the good word and try to help people out that are struggling with, well, it's really hard. If someone has poor metabolic health and they're fat, you can't really go up to them and say, hey, do this. But their doctor, for the most part, 99 times out of 100, is not helping them. And so the more we can spread the awareness that you can, through eating clean, eating beef, and slowing down on the consumption of the processed foods and seed oils and sugars, anyone alive today can improve their health drastically. And all that said, the title of this video is called, what would you do with $10 million? I had to think about that, not because I got $10 million, but about 10 years ago, after being in the precious metals market for a while and expecting at the time that they were about to break free of the decades-long price suppression, I was kind of counting my chickens a little bit, and I realized that when the price tanked and stayed, and I realized that I wasn't going to get rich overnight, then I had to start thinking about what I wanted the money for. What was I doing that was beneficial to me and my family and the people around me. And I had the realization that that even if I had a lot of money, then the things that I would want to do were not things that you could buy. They were things that you had to work at and accomplish. And I realized I could do that without all the money. If I just lived like and kind of believed that the money would come, and I thought, and I just kind of went at it. So I decided that if I had $10 million, I'd want to play music, write songs, and ride and rope. At the time, I wanted to ride broncs. That's another story for another day. That didn't last very long, but like I say, that was 10 years ago. But in that time, I've had just unimaginable experiences traveling, playing music, roping, dealing with people in the horse business, and working at getting better at everything I do. At times it's hard to focus on more than one thing at a time, so like it goes in cycles. You know, I'll go to a show somewhere or a concert festival in Oklahoma and watch the guy that Robert Earl Keen hired to play the fiddle, and just blows your mind. You know, he's 100 times better than me, and I think, man, I could do that. So then I'll get fired up for a while, and I'll put some time in, and I'll get a little better, and then after a while, then I'll start roping again, and I'll start clicking there, and then it's just like in Arizona, I just mainly focused on the riding and roping part and made a lot of progress, and I'm proud of myself. But at the same time, I dropped the ball on practicing fiddle and guitar as much as I should, though. I did have the experience of, for the first time, you know, of playing a song that I'd just written in front of a crowd of people, and kind of having the crowd go silent and notice something had happened. You know, and I don't know how to say it or describe the feeling, but it was pretty awesome to know that something that I had created recently that I thought was good kind of resonated and struck a chord and maybe made some people happy in a way. And I'm excited to record that in the near future, and some more songs I've been working on. But really, for the last 10 years, I've had the mindset that I'll do it like you're already wealthy. And I've seen a lot of times, I've been at shows playing, or even shows watching, or, you know, been at festivals and seeing. I kind of just always take in the crowd and how people are reacting, and you know, just camped out to get to talk to a lot of people. And I sometimes see people that you know, they just chase that dollar their whole life, and maybe they're a little bit older and not in great health, and I can see like a dull look of pain in their eyes, like they did everything right and they got their kids in the best college, and you know, and they wish, but there's a look of sadness when they, you know, like they might have had a dream about playing music or something. And I'm not saying everyone has to follow their dream and, you know, take a shot at the big time. You know, that's not what I'm talking about, but I see so many people that put the chasing the dollar in front of following their dreams and what they believe they can do. And if you're like me, you believe that at some point in this struggle or this lifetime of creating value in myself and for others that I'm working on, whether it's through making horses or writing songs or playing fiddle, I'm going to create enough value somewhere. And I know that I'm not saying this it's not like a new age thing, but I know that value gets rewarded as long as you believe, as long as you keep working at it and keep improving. So like I don't expect to get, you know, paid $1 million for making this video, but I know over time, as I keep working on myself and keep struggling to get better and keep enjoying my life and enjoying the things that I do, that I will figure out a way to make the money work. And so far I have, you know, and by whatever means, I still shoot a couple horses every now and then. And, you know, some of those silver miners I've owned for a long time, they're about to start paying off when the gold and silver price break out here in the near future. But that's all beside the point. My way I'll end this video is to say, I just ask you what you would do with $10 million. And I'm not saying do what I did and go and just chase that with everything you got and quit your job, but it might be that, you know, maybe this is the kick in the pants you need to follow your dreams, and you know, maybe it is something that's viable, but you're too scared to make the leap. I will tell you this, the things that I've been following, they're pretty hard to call them viable, you know, for making a lot of money, but at some point I know in the future what I'm doing will pay off. So I hope you think about that. And if you have any answers or comments about this, about what you would do with 10 million, go ahead and leave them down there below in the comments. I'd love to hear them. With all that said, thanks for watching this one, and I'll be back with more in the near future. Adios.